After making a few videos talking about obscure films/series, I really started getting into the lost media community. So I want to start making videos where I talk about specific instances of lost media. But unlike my other series, Vivid Revisit, which includes finding and reviewing the film/series in question, this is specifically for ones that no one can find. And for my first video in this new series, I really want to talk about an animated Korean movie that managed to catch my attention, mostly because it's both a South and North Korean co-production. So that being said, my name is Sami, and in this video, I'll be talking about the disappearance of a film by the name of Empress Chung. So, what's the movie about? Empress Chung is a 2005 animated feature film produced in both North and South Korea and directed by Nelson Shin, an animation director as well as the founder and president of the South Korean company Akom Production. The company has worked on shows such as The Simpsons, Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, Arthur, and the 1980s Transformers series and its subsequent movie. Shin began working on the movie Empress Chung in 1999, which was mostly animated in North Korea, and in August 2005, it became the first movie to ever open in both North and South Korea simultaneously. The film itself is based on a famous Korean folktale by the name of The Tale of Shim Chung, which is a story about a daughter who sacrifices herself to restore her father's eyesight. The plot of the original Shim Chung goes as follows. A man and his wife give birth to a daughter named Shim Chung, but afterwards the wife dies and the husband goes blind. When Shim Chung turns 13, the father goes out by himself and gets into trouble, but he's saved by a Buddhist monk who tells him that he will regain his eyesight if he gives 300 sacks of rice as an offering to Buddha. Without thinking, he promises the offering to the monk and returns home. Shim Chung finds out about her father's promise, and knowing that they can't provide that amount, she volunteers to become a sacrifice for the seamen in return. Seamen, motherfucker. She volunteers to become a sacrifice for the sailors in return for 300 sacks of rice. Shim Chung throws herself into the sea, gets summoned by the Dragon King, is resurrected in a lotus flower, and marries a king. She then hosts a feast for the blind and reunites with her father, who manages to regain his eyesight. Because he was overjoyed or something, I don't know. So yeah, that's a very abridged version of the original tale, but you get the point. From the looks of the trailer, the film seems to take a Disney-type approach to the story, by adding animal companions and expanding the backstory of Shim Chung, making it more epic in scope. This was a personal project for Nelson Shin, who spent 8 years of his life trying to make it. This includes 3.5 years of pre-production. The film was co-produced in North Korea by Sek Studio, or the Korean April 26 Children's Film Studio. The score was also recorded in the North by the Pyongyang Film and Broadcasting Orchestra. Also, another interesting fact about the production, 2 versions of the voice acting were recorded for the film, one in the North and one in the South, due to the different dialects. For the definitive international version, the South Korean dub was used. This is kind of unusual for the Korean film industry, but it makes more sense once you learn more about the director. Nelson Shin was born in 1939 in a small province in what is now known as North Korea. His family moved to South Korea in 1952 amid the disruptions caused by the Korean War. In a now archived article from the website Korea is One, Shin is quoted to have said the following. While working in the center of the world entertainment industry, Hollywood, I always had a thirst for exploring Korean beauty. After many thoughts, I chose the tale of Shim Chung, through which I could effectively introduce Korea to the outside world, and which people of all ages can watch when made into a film. Knowing that, it feels like Shin wanted to make a film that was culturally significant to all Koreans. It also looks like working on so many cartoons from other countries really made him want to make something that he himself could identify with. Also, fun fact, Shin is credited as one of the animators of the lightsaber effects in the original Star Wars trilogy. So yeah, this man's an OG. Now, the film isn't technically an inter-Korean co-production, however, about 500 North Korean animators took part in drawing the work, meaning it's still marked as the first product of inter-Korean cooperation in the animated film world. The article states that North Korea's involvement was pure coincidence, and that Shin came across officials from Sek Animation Studio at an overseas film market and made the job offer then and there. Shin ended up going to Pyongyang via Beijing 18 times to set everything in place. When asked to describe North Korean animators, he said the following. They were excellent. They were like geniuses. I stayed in Pyongyang for about a week each time. I talked a lot while working together with the North Korean animators, sometimes about democracy, which appears to have brought much change to their way of thinking. I think there is no question that Empress Chung opened the way for inter-Korean cooperation in the animation industry. I hope it will contribute to enhancing peace in the Korean peninsula. The film made its debut at the Annecy Film Festival in France before being released simultaneously in both North and South Korea on August 12, 2005. It won many awards but only grossed around $140,000 on its opening weekend against a $6.5 million budget. Sadly, animated films for the Korean market have apparently had the trend of underperforming in the box office. But yeah, after that, it stopped playing in theaters and the movie just disappeared. Empress Chung doesn't seem to have any DVD or home release made for it. The only things related to the film that's available to the public are the trailers, some screenshots, and a collection of children books. There are rumors, however, that it was in fact released on DVD in North Korea. That being said, since there isn't much evidence, I can't conclude if this North Korean DVD is even real. A Reddit user by the name Bizen Emperor made a post on r/lostmedia detailing some various update on the Lost Korean film. To keep it short, he managed to find some sites where the film had been available for streaming, such as the Korea Creative Content Agency, and they told him that even though they might have had the rights to stream it for a short while, they no longer have those rights and don't have the ability to release the film or share it with anybody. He also found out that the film had a screening in 2019 at that year's Pyeongchang International Peace Film Festival. So the film has managed to resurface over the years, it just hasn't been accessible to the rest of the world. In the comment section of the trailer uploaded to YouTube by the channel Old Classic Gamer, there was a discussion about contacting Nelson Shin and asking him about the film, but Old Classic Gamer replied with the following. I did it as well. He won't give you the movie. He said he has no plans to release it. Bootleg release is the only way. And yeah, that's about it. At first, I thought Nelson Shin completely changed his mind on his views towards the project, and just wanted it thrown away, never to be seen again. But with evidence that Empress Chung has had screenings after its original theatrical run, it looks like Shin simply isn't interested in releasing it for an international audience. If so, I have no idea why exactly. Maybe it's due to the sanctions on North Korea, or its involvement in general, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Even with US sanctions on the country, many American projects have been indirectly animated in North Korea, at least partially. Shin himself has stated in the past, saying, "If Disney Europe, not Disney the company in the US, gave North Korea the production order, then it's not a deal placed by an American company." So yeah, loopholes. But this is all I have to say about the lost animated feature film, Empress Chung. Maybe one day we'll get some sort of official release, if not, maybe an unofficial online leak. But for now, I'd like to thank you all for watching the video, and if you enjoyed what you saw, be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. And I have links to my Instagram, where you can follow me for extra content and some behind the scenes stuff, as well as join the Discord server if you want to. Links are in the video's description. Peace!